Hi guys, welcome to live stream. Um, uh, if you've never been on Ustream before, then the way that you ask me questions is through Skype, which is Lisa Cairns 12. If you always wonder how to join me live, then basically you go to my YouTube page and it should come up on my YouTube page, or you can go to Facebook and you'll see a link there. The best way to know when I'm going live is to go to my YouTube channel, which just type in Lisa Cairns and you'll find her channel. And you press subscribe to my YouTube channel and you turn on the bell. So you click on the bell next to the subscribe button, and then you will get notifications that I've gone live. And this is the best way, because then you'll get an email in your email box and you can click that link and it should take you to the live broadcast. The third way you can do it is you can go onto my website and you can go onto live streaming, and it's embedded in my website, the live stream. Let me just check that. I'm sure it's embedded. We embedded it, so it should do. And you just go on at 6 p.m. French time. Now, I know that the last couple of weeks have been confusing, because what's happened is, yeah, it's just there. You just press play and it's there on my YouTube channel. And the last couple of weeks, it has been complicated because everybody's been changing their time zone at different times. Europe's the same, but America sprung forward before Europe did, which makes everything confusing. And then I changed back to England and forgot for a couple of streams that England's a different time from France. Drove my mum crazy, knocking against the table. I don't know if you can hear it with my bracelets. She loves this table. And I had a cloth down to stop it, but I don't know where it is. I shall get it. And I know I fidget a lot when I'm doing talks here because these seats are freaking uncomfy. Look at that. I'm just not that way inclined to pick a seat that's like that. It's very beautiful table set. But that hurts your back, or it does mine. And if I get a cushion, I'm too far forward, but maybe I could get a cloth to put over it. So I notice that I'm going like this a lot when I'm doing my live talks here. There we go. No more clicking. Who was that? Khaleesi? So now I have to live up to the title of my talk, which is called Born Free. Have you ever seen the movie Born Free? I used to love those types of movies when I was a child. It's about a lion. I think it wasn't a lion, it was a lioness. I think her parents, or she got lost or something, and this lady brought her up in Africa. And then it was about them releasing the lioness. It's very sad and beautiful. I really enjoyed it. I used to watch it a lot. Okay, so Born Free. Born free. Yeah, da 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 da. I think there's also a song that goes along with it as well. Boop da 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 da. Boop da 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 da. So we are born free, we live free, and we die free. But there's only one part that's free of us, and it's not the thinking part. The thinking is limited. Thinking is always in opposites and contained to its idea. It's an amazing thing, thinking, but it contains everything. I'm a woman, I'm white, I'm blonde, I'm tall, I'm short, I'm thin, I'm fat, I'm clever, I'm stupid, I'm right, I'm wrong. And it contains the world. The world is good, the world is bad, the world is evil, the world is unfair, the world is generous, the world is giving, the world is loving. It also puts a container on the world. And you're going to see the world, not because you choose to see it in a certain way. You're going to see the world dependent on your society and your conditioning, your up-to-date conditioning and your genetics. So if you've had family that's very negative, and if you've never attempted to recondition yourself, then you'll most probably have a really negative outlook, which is going to be painful. If you're always telling yourself something's bad, that's going to have a painful sensation in the body. So thinking is not free. Thinking can never be free. Thinking is in opposites and was designed to be in opposites. It's a way to distinguish a table from a chair, a sky from a floor. And we know objects in comparison to other objects, that they're not other objects. We know what goodness is in comparison to badness. We know what right is in comparison to wrong. Now that's a pretty simple idea for you to understand, but your brain is listening to what I say and interpreting it and understanding it, but your brain isn't hearing it. Your brain isn't experiencing it. Your brain is like a machine. It's like the mechanism of the computer that pulls up websites when you click on a button, or it's like the brain is decoding everything and putting it into the code of this particular machine, and that machine doesn't experience. We think that we're someone inside the body experiencing, but actually that machine is being experienced. So everything you think about yourself is an interpretation of the brain and not an experiencer. It is an experience. That's quite amazing, right? So, what is it that you think about yourself? You think you are someone that could get enlightened. You think you're someone that's not enlightened. You think you're a good person. You think that spirituality only contains goodness and shouldn't contain the words fuck, bollocks, cunt. You think that that if you're spiritual you shouldn't have sex. If you're spiritual you should have lots of sex. You think that spirituality is reconditioning yourself. Now notice all of those are thoughts about yourself. Maybe you think that in order to be enlightened you should quit your job or get a better job or a more enlightened job. And all of these are thoughts. So is that who you actually are? Is that you? Now the experience of the machine is going to be a more pleasant experience the more positive the machine is. So if the machine thinks that everything is in its favour and that life is going well and that people are kind, then the machine is going to experience more pleasure. Or not the machine's going to experience, but the machine's going to produce more pleasure. If the thoughts are very negative, then the machine will produce more pain. But freedom is seeing what's free prior to all of that. And it's not someone that's seeing, because someone that's seeing that is already a thought. It's the way it is. Right now there is seeing happening for no one, from no one. Seeing is happening, and the seeing is life. Life is seeing itself. There isn't something inside this body that's experiencing life. Life is experiencing itself. The consciousness is life. The consciousness is the appearance of all things. So maybe you're sitting there and you're thinking about that and you're being like, well, a different teacher said something else, so I think Lisa must be wrong and I'm listening to the wrong talk. Or Lisa is such a great teacher and she's so fantastic and she says everything correctly. Or wow, this is super boring. Or wow, this is super interesting and liberating. Could be all of those types of thoughts. And you know what? That's got nothing to do with what's being pointed to. What is it that's experiencing those thoughts? The energy sucks you in and makes it feel, or creates this feeling that you are those thoughts and you are these feelings and you're someone inside this body. But there's nobody inside these bodies. There is simply life happening, and it's free, and it's always been happening. At the moment it's having the experience of Lisa or Jeanette or Laurie or Mark or Roland. It's having the experience of that. Who you truly are, who's hearing my voice now, who's experiencing my voice, is life, not you. The you that says I like this or don't like this, or I want this or I don't want this, is being experienced. And that you never becomes enlightened. That you can align more and more with the truth of reality, which is a more and more expanded view on reality, an open view on reality, because the nature of reality is infinite possibilities, infinite mystery. And so the more the character lines up to that, the more happy the character will be, and the more in line the character will be. And the more balanced the character will be. But that character cannot be enlightened because that character doesn't exist. Who exists now? Who? Who let the dogs out? Who? Some people like to say to me, who is not the good question, it should be what? Who already implies that there is somebody there. And my response as a polite English person is like, okay, sure. As if they think I haven't heard it all before. I've been around this subject for so long, I've most probably heard everything. Well, maybe not everything. There's always the possibility that I haven't heard everything. But maybe I have, but maybe I haven't. We don't know. I got a little e, I got a little ooh. This is Khaleesi's song. I got a little e, I got a little ooh. And she walks around so proud when I say it. And then I chase her around clapping like this. She's very excited by this. She's been being sick in my mum's house today. And my mum is very upset about that. And I think that Khaleesi holds it up and stores it up for my mum. She doesn't really do it when we're at my place. But when she's at my mum's, she's always like, this is a good place. Oh, there we go. Present. She might be regurgitating it for my mum as a gift. Maybe my mum's excitement or anguish when Khaleesi's sick makes Khaleesi think, she likes this. What else have we got? have to plug my computer in. 1 sec. Oops. Sorry. I just don't mind about those types of things. I mean, gas is gas. I think some people think it's rude to express gas in public, but I don't. I don't think it's rude. Sometimes I'm too embarrassed to do it. But sometimes it just happens. Isn't it super funny that expressing gas in public is such a taboo thing? Our bodies have like all these chemicals and reactions in it. And sometimes gas comes out because our stomach's digesting a certain piece of food, or the other way, gas comes out. And we see it as such a taboo thing. Like, She's rude. She doesn't care about the people that are listening. If she did, she wouldn't do it. When I was younger, I'm sure I've told all these stories before. I've done so many talks that I'm sure you just hear it again and again and again. When I was younger, I was a practicing Buddhist for 5 years. I'm sure I've told lots of you this. And I did this one retreat where we walked from London to Stonehenge for the summer solstice, and we camped along the way. It was really cool. It was like a 7-day walk, or maybe 8-day, I forget. And we did this walk, and we walked in silence. And as we were walking, because I think a lot of people maybe weren't used to vegetarian food and all the beans that we were having, I'm really used to it, so my body can digest it easily. A lot of people were having gas, but the politically correct way in the Buddhist group was not to respond to people's gas. And so if we're walking along in silence and then one of the people at the front farts and everyone else walks straight into it, the PC way in the Buddhist group was to ignore it and just pretend it didn't happen. And that was what used to kill me, was the fact that we were all just having to ignore it. Like, I found something in that complicit ignoring really funny. Like, there's a big gas explosion and then there's a big horrendous smell and everyone just carries on as if nothing's happened when it's funny. But it was very un-PC in the Buddhist group to laugh if somebody passed wind, because passing wind was very natural. And then when I was doing talks in Paris, I don't know if the gentleman's listening, that this used to happen. When I was doing talks in Paris, one guy, he used to pass gas when he really resonated with what I said and really appreciated what I said. And I never got on that well at doing talks in Paris. Like, I don't think I was appreciated that much in Paris. And then I would be doing the talks, and then suddenly I would say something really profound and he would pass gas. And the Parisians way of dealing with it, if I said that correctly, was to ignore it. And so I would sit there and I would think, Lisa, do not focus on it, because I knew he was going to do it. He always did it. And then I would think in my head, do not focus on it. So I'd say something really profound and then there'd be a big explosion of gas. And then I would think, okay, focus on your hands. Focus on the person that's asking you a question. And I couldn't do it. My thoughts would eventually just produce how funny that was, that all these Parisians, like very sophisticated intellectuals, are sitting there listening to this profound statement and then an explosion of gas. And then I was just rolling around laughing. And luckily the guy that had these explosions of gas, he had no shame about it. He didn't mind, and he would start laughing too. And then everyone would sort of be confused as to what to do. Are we allowed to laugh? Or do you have to stay silent? And I would really, I would sit there and I would try my best. Each time it happened a lot. Be like, come on, Lisa, you're more mature. You cannot laugh this time. And then I would just roll around. It was so funny. So I don't really have an issue with gas. I mean, it can be a problem and socially inappropriate at times. Like if you're driving in a car with someone, it's not appropriate to do that, but sometimes you can't help it. My brother has a thing where he likes to save it up for the car, just to torment the family. When the car is full of people, he's saving it up. He's in his head beforehand, squeezing, save, and then he gets into the car and which again I find really funny. It's most probably my fault. I encourage him by laughing. So if you ever feel offended by my gas on live talks, I don't apologise for it. Just imagine it like talking, but just in a different form. And what it's saying is that I'm very comfortable with gas. Gas does not embarrass me. And you are welcome to have gas in front of me as well. Also, silence doesn't bother me as well. So if you ever meet me in person or do a session, you're so welcome to be in silence. I went through good training from a very young age. I got involved with this Buddhist group, and silence, gas, meditation, we did it all. We covered it all. Orgies, speaking out our feelings. I became very comfortable with being a human or an animal or whatever this thing is. And then also I went and spent time at Osho's ashram in India as well. Where if there was anything left not or to be embarrassed about, that soon got evacuated from being at the Osho ashram. And I would recommend people to do this type of things, like to challenge yourself into situations which embarrass you. There's nothing wrong with embarrassment. Like, I get embarrassed, but it's almost like that energy that's afraid of embarrassment. Like that energy of that's afraid of ever being embarrassed. I remember once, this guy contacted me. I'm sure I've told you this story as well. This is super funny. He was contacting me about being a speaker, and we went for a walk, and he was really appreciating the way I spoke or something. I can't remember. And we were walking along, and I was looking at him, and there was a wall in front of me, and I didn't see the wall, so I just fell over the wall the other side. And I found that extremely funny that I'd done it. But it's also embarrassing, like suddenly he's looking over and he's all unsure what to say. But it's also super funny. Like, embarrassment isn't bad when you don't try to avoid it. It's just a feeling, the cheeks blush. And when you do public talks, you can be embarrassed often. I don't do as many as I used to do, but when you're doing public talks, all types of things happen, and I spontaneously speak, so I don't tend to plan it. I remember there was one talk I did, and I was doing the talk for like an hour and a half, taking all types of questions, and I had my legs folded on my seat, which I found very comfortable. And as I stood up, I realised that my flies had been undone the whole entire talk. And nobody had been like, "You're flying low." I'd just been like, saying all profound wisdom. Well, my trousers are undone. I've fallen off chairs, tripped over, done all types of things, and just flopped, just done really badly. Had people heckle me off, where they've got really angry with me, and I've just lost control of the audience, and people are arguing amongst each other, and I'm just like, boop, 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 boop. So yeah, if you ever feel inspired to challenge yourself to get more comfortable being human on the human level, then I would recommend something like Osho Ashram, or they have different places around Europe. They have like tantra courses or rebirthing courses or child courses. There was one course that I did where everyone had to just pretend to be a child the whole time, which is very playful and fun. Also can be annoying and embarrassing. Dance. Like, on the human level, I feel like there has to be an acceptance of it. I feel like most people are always striving for perfection. Even in enlightenment, you feel that one day, or hope one day, you'll be perfect. And really, the only reason you want to be perfect is so you can be powerful. Because if you're perfect and if you're never wrong, then no one else can criticize you. You always win every argument if you're perfect. To embrace your imperfections is love and is in line with this life. What goes up comes down. what grows and blooms will eventually be destroyed and turn into food for other plants. To try to hold to just the blooming is totally out of balance with life. To embrace the chaos and the beauty is how to live this life. And that also means embracing it in yourself, that these humans aren't perfect at all. Not one of us. All of us have imperfections. And what you like to do is, to the teacher, is to project perfection on them, because firstly that's an ideal that you want to live up to, that they're perfect and one day you'll become perfect. And secondly, because you're looking for the perfect human love. You want, on the human level, to be loved perfectly, for that person to be without any motive, without any agenda, to give you everything you want, to always say yes to you, to never be angry, to never tell you off, to just be pleasure. And you're looking in the wrong place. That which you're looking for in life is your essence. That perfect love that you seek in form will never be found in form. It's in this. It's in life itself. It's in that empty looking and the sense of being, the sense of existence. It's in what's always here, which never moves. I got a little ee, I got a little ooh. I got a little ee, I got a little ooh. Easy, easy, ooh, ooh. I got a little ee and I got a little ooh. She likes that. Okay, so here we go. Questions. Hi, Rule. I think there were people that, it was people that asked me questions yesterday. So we got a lot of questions today. So if you want to write me a question, then you can write it to me on Skype, which you should have the information in the box below. Boop, 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 boop. So the first question is, hi Lisa, my question is, recently my sense of purpose in this life has been crumbling greatly and I just don't see a point in doing things. I just can't find the drive to set and follow all these goals I had, or to work hard achieving them. My mind is finding these times very hard to cope with and scary. The only thing I still do constantly is exercise and watch movies all day. Am I just being lazy here, or is there something more to it? What most probably is happening is a detox is happening. However, so a detox is happening from that goal-orientated person that believes that happiness and freedom comes from doing something in time. So maybe your whole life has been about looking for the I am and the sense of presence in time, and you never find it in time. You find it here. It's your essence. It's what is. You can't find that life, that I am in the future. The I am is here, and the I am is love. The I am is freedom. So your whole life has been about looking for that, and there's been a recognition that it's not found in time. So what's actually happening now is your body is having a tantrum unconsciously. Your body is telling you unconsciously, fuck it, there's no point. And you're not aware of these thoughts, but that's why you're having more depressive states and lethargic and no energy, because unconsciously you think life is pointless because you can't get what you want from putting hard effort into something. So now you've gone the other way. And that's not true either. Like here, this life is so juicy, it's for the living, it's not for laying on the sofa all day and watching movies. That's dead energy. And it's because you're not aware of what's being said to you unconsciously. So I would find some time alone, although you can do it in front of people, but they might think you're crazy. So spend some time alone and go into that energy. Now, most people don't know what I mean by that, but just watch more of my videos and you'll begin to understand. Basically, learn your chakra system and your emotional system. So see where your emotions are appearing in the body and understand what your emotions are saying. So see that unconsciously there is a repetitive story of pointlessness. Like, that's why you feel lack of energy. It's because your mind's saying this is pointless, this is hopeless. But you can't hear it as a thought, it's just tied in the body. This is called the unconscious. And I believe it was Freud that made up that word maybe 100 so years ago. And now we have that as a named thing in our society. But really on the ultimate level, there is no such thing as the conscious and the unconscious. But it's a way that we communicate. So you can just learn what your unconscious is saying to you. It's happening all the time and it happens to all of us. So I've been having some intense family situations at the moment. That's why I'm back in England. And sometimes it's not appropriate for me to express myself and in these family situations. So as soon as that happens, I can notice that my body hurts. So as soon as you're sort of in this situation where you can't express yourself fully, my body hurts physically. So what I do is I walk away from that situation and I go to the toilet or I go into the back bedroom and I just express it and I put my attention there and then it passes through really quickly. If you're not doing that and you're having all these unconscious situations happening, which you will be at your work, in all these situations, your body is actually storing up and repeating it to you unconsciously. So later on, after, say, a family feud or something, you will feel really uncomfortable for hours later. It's because your body is maybe saying, this is unfair, I hate them, or it's saying all these things, but because you're not giving it any space to let itself express, because you've been told that that's wrong or bad, your attention just stays on the mind activity and your body is in a state of stress and it gets stuck in the body. After years of this, what we do is we just cut the body off and we just become walking heads and we live in this, and our body is actually in a big state of stress. So becoming conscious of the body and what the body feels is super important, because then you also realize how you've been using your imagination to avoid what's currently happening, because feelings are what's currently happening. And so you've been using your imagination to daydream about you and others and live in a timeline, and this is the seeking energy. So part of this waking up process, even though you don't wake up, part of the apparent process is dropping into the body and becoming super aware of your feelings and what's happening, because that's what's happening. Feelings are what's happening. You got lost in thought and then you believed you were a thought. Feelings are what are. And I'm not in any way suggesting that you're going to just always have pure, innocent feelings. Like, I can get frustrated with family, just like other people can sometimes, when you see people repeating things again and again and putting their hand in the fire repetitively and you're like, stop it! And then it's not appropriate to express that. So this body can feel frustration. And it's super important that this release process happens, that you acknowledge how you feel and you let that feeling to be present. You don't try to live in a mental activity of, why are they like that? They're wrong. Why is this happening to me? And this is when you need friends to then go and emotionally release on, or you need therapists to go and emotionally release on, because you've ignoring the body, and so you need to get out all these thoughts. Sometimes that can be relaxing to do that. But really the key of it is understanding your body. Now, I know a lot of people will be switching off as soon as I start saying that, because that feels like effort. But notice what it is that doesn't like effort, why you're having that response. I want her to tell me it's effortless. It is effortless on the ultimate level. But why are you having that response? Because your unconscious is afraid of putting effort in. It's afraid of finding energy. It's telling you already that you're going to fail, that you're not going to make it, that it's going to be too hard. See that, recognize that, and just let it come up. And then it will pass out of the body, all those times you failed and not acknowledged it and held it in the body, and then you'll begin to feel more energized. I suspect, although I can't guarantee this because I've not done lots of surveys, but I suspect mental illness or some forms of mental illness and depression are actually because we've repressed the body so much it begins to make us so mentally distressed, because we're constantly trying to avoid what's actually happening in this moment. And our mind just goes crazy attempting to avoid it. And what we feel in this moment. Feeling is okay. Embarrassment is okay. Fear is okay. What's not okay, what is incredibly uncomfortable to you, is the seeking to avoid these feelings, because you're constantly trying to run away from the monster, and they're not that bad. If you turn around and look at them, it's like, oh, it's just a sensation. Well, that was a very good answer, Lisa. Well done. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Abby, for your question. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Rula. Hi, Lisa. I just want to share this with someone. Publicly or just me? You want me to say this out loud? Maybe I'll move on. Hi. Just tell me if you want me to say it out loud or if you want me just to read it by myself. Hi, Lisa. Is free will illusory? Does it matter whether it is or not? It matters seeing that. So seeing that free will is illusory, but on the human level, it feels like you have free will. So it feels like you, on the human level, you can choose between this drink or this drink. But where do those thoughts and choices appear from? So that choice that chose this drink came from the absolute and wasn't personal. So on the human level, we say we choose. Lisa chose this drink. But on the absolute level, how do you choose your impulses and thoughts? So on that level, they come from the infinite. So seeing that is super important. And on the human level, understanding it, so reconditioning yourself to that level, because most of the time we believe others have free will and we have free will, and we get caught in a lot of thoughts of blame, expectation, guilt. I did something wrong, they did something wrong. These basic feelings are important. It's important to tell someone off if they've been inappropriate, and it's also important to take responsibility if you've done something wrong, so guilt. But getting stuck in the mental activity of them is out of line with reality. It's out of line of how things are. You know, when you're blaming someone for weeks or years or months or however long. But it's important to call people out on their shit. I realised the hard way of being in this subject that being a passive character, that teaching could make me too passive. Now, if I get pissed with someone, I tell them to F off. Not all the time. If it's my mum, I don't. But I can be quite feisty. I'm not opposed to sticking up my finger now to somebody that has been very aggressive on the motorway or something. When I was younger and into Buddhism, I was like, you couldn't do that. Whereas now, it's like, it's just an expression. It's not personal to them. It's funny actually, because now I find that if I go for someone, I now swear a lot. And I think that part of that is because it's actually really impersonal swearing. I know the words can be quite ugly things sometimes, but it's actually really impersonal. It's like, it's not saying that person is a bad person as such, or you are evil and da da da. It's just kind of like lots of sounds coming up. And it's important, but it's important. I use my anger now, if I get angry, to determine if, on the human level, if I've not put up a boundary correctly, because normally I get angry if a boundary is not up correctly, and I'll respond, and I now use it, whereas before, because I had so much Buddhist training, I trained myself not to really act out of anger, where I now use my anger, not abuse. I wouldn't say I'm abusive to someone, but it depends a bit on what they're used to. If they're not used to somebody that's quite verbally active, then they might feel that quite overwhelming. But so I'm not suggesting being abusive to people, but for me personally, that works well. If I feel annoyed with someone, I express it in that moment when I feel angry. Because if I don't, then it will just pass by and I haven't asserted a good boundary. Like there's something that's irritated me or bugged me or not been okay, and because I'm so passive, I can let things go so easily if I just do it there and then. So on the absolute level, where does thoughts and feelings and choices come from? And it's important on one way to see that on the human level, but also on the human level, it appears as if you do something. It appears as if you can choose to watch TV all day or go for a walk. You also have to be really careful with this, because you've got different personality types, and different personality types respond differently to this teaching. And there's certain personality types that I see get hold of this, and they use it as a weapon in an argument. And don't do that, any of you. Don't ever use non-doership as an excuse in an argument. When you're arguing, you argue. You don't say there's nobody doing anything. Dick. That's a stupid, no, not a stupid thing. That's a really manipulative game. Very manipulative, especially if you're both into non-duality. Don't to cut someone off like that. That's a really passive, aggressive game. Now, see? That's where I wasn't actually angry there, because it was kind of a joke, but because I've in the past used that as well. I think all of us do. But don't do it. Pas bien. Hi Lisa, nice to hear you. I have a question to you. Why suffering does not allow me to function normally? Now I don't see any sense of life and everything is ruined. I cry a lot and suffering. Maybe you can answer me. Why did so many things go down at the same time? All it happens after I recognize who I really am. Please give me some understanding. Thank you, and sorry for my English. Magdalena. What a beautiful name, Magdalena. What a blessing to have that name. Yeah, I mean, life can go up and down. Like it can come round with a big club, and suddenly, like dominoes, things can go to the poop. Also, like dominoes, they can stand back up again and they can grow and blossom. This is part of life. When you see life correctly, the freedom is right here, and that you're not going to find it in anxiety and worry and repetitive thoughts, and bring your attention back here. Then you'll find freedom and love. You won't find it in life, because ultimately, on the human level, all of us are going to crumble to the grave. We're going to lose everything. And I'm sorry for you if a lot of things went down at once. That's hard to cope with. But now it's time to pick yourself up and dust yourself off. And I know that sounds harsh, and I know you look at me and think, what does this young lady know? She's never been through suffering. But I had some hell of a lot of blows just before my life started in childhood, and I had to pick myself up and dust myself off, just as society was chucking me out to work, to go into work, and I was recovering from horrendous amount of batterings. Like I mean, You guys would be shocked at some of the things if I told you them. And this subject saved my life. If it wasn't for this subject, I mean, for Buddhism, the kind Buddhists and my teachers along the way and all these wise words, I would have gone under the bus. I would have become alcoholic, drug addict, eating disorder, I don't know, any numbers of these things, maybe even suicide, I don't know. And in one way it was a blessing, you know, all these difficult things led me to this subject so young, and I had such a vulnerable, open heart. Like, I was so sad at the suffering I'd seen. I'd really seen a lot of suffering, and I was just so saddened. It felt like life was pointless. Could be so cruel. And having that at such a young age was actually a blessing, because it brought me this subject. And this subject is freedom beyond anything conditioned. Now I notice my friends, my childhood friends, my school friends, are now beginning to catch up with what happened to me at such a young age, because they're beginning to get battered by life. Like, in the sense that, because everybody is eventually. It's just that I peaked before my friends. Like, I had a battering before my friends, whereas my friends now I'm in my late 30s. No, well, mid to late 30s. And my friends now are, you know, they're beginning to go through parents dying, difficulties with children, with their education, you know, the 2, 3, 4 children, working full time while having 3 children, the husband working full time, redundancy, losing their job, society problems, and now I'm beginning to notice that they're now beginning to get into this subject and need this subject. So I look at your face and I see you're quite young, so this is a blessing, and you've got to see it like this, otherwise you are going to go under, and you've got to pick yourself up. Now, what I did was I went out into the world and found people, kind people, this Buddhist organization, and because I was young, they were very kind to me, and they took me on board, and they really helped me get back up again. So go out there and find these people. There's so many people out there that want to help you. It's out there. You've just got to find it, these Buddhist groups, and be involved, and they're happy to recruit new Buddhists. Look who's there. I got little ee. Look at this. I got little ooh. So thank you so much for your question, Magdalena. I got little ee. I got little ooh. I got ee. I got, look, stop. And the tail stops. I got little ee. I got little ooh. I got little ee. I got little ooh. You want to come in? You want to come in? Do you want to come in? Maybe Mum's going to let you in. No. Oh, at least has to get up. You know, when you're 37 years old, you're not so quick to your feet. I got a little feet. Come on then. Hello. Yeah, hello. Are you a good girl? Are you a good girl? Are you? Hello. Oh gosh, she's so beautiful. I mean, look at her. She's so beautiful. Icky ticky ticky tick, boopy doo boo 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 boo. Boo ticky 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 tick. I'm not hurting her. If you've not got dogs and you don't know, the dogs love this bit being stroked and patted. Boopy doopy boopy boop, boopy doopy boopy doo. Watch her do her little dance. Eeky ticky ticky tick ticky boop beep boop beep boop boopy doopy doopy doop. You tee 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 tee. That's excitement, you know, her little dance. I get little hee, I got little loo. Sorry. Okay, I'm being a... So basically, back to suffering, Magdalena. You have to see that as a gift. So the Buddha, one of his main teachings is the first noble truth is, number one, is seeing that life is suffering. And that, don't take that lightly. That doesn't just mean general seeing, oh, things can go bad. It's really knowing and seeing that life can be suffering. That's the number one noble truth. Now, I've forgotten the rest. Let me just quickly look it up. I can vaguely tell you, but I used to have to chant them. 4 noble truths. But I always get them a little bit wrong. So, you know, we might as well be accurate when we got the internet. 3. 4 noble truths. So number 1, the 4 yeah. Number 1, the life is suffering. Number 2, the understanding the origin of suffering. Number 3, the cessation of suffering, so the end of suffering. So the realization of the end of suffering. Number 4, the path to understanding the path to the end of suffering. Magga. What is the meaning of the 4 noble truths? So this is a blessing to see this. And poor me will take you down. Why has this happened to me will take you down. They're not in line with reality. Seeing it as a blessing, as a teaching, this is what will enable you to step out of it. Thank you for your question, Magdalena. Hi, Robert. Hi, Lisa. I have a somewhat rare momentary pause from the fast pace of my life. Not a vacation, just a small time period as I ramp up to the speed with a new project. This seems to be the perfect storm for all the anxiety and abandon patterns, and the natural tendency of my mind is to jump back in to doing again, anything but staying with the feeling in the body. Is it advisable to sit and burn in this impulse towards doing while this energy is alive and present? Or is it intelligent and skillful to just let my life ramp back up to speed again, knowing that these patterns will burn away in the pace that they are meant to? I'm unsure to what extent the one who thinks he needs to sit and experience more pain intensity in the moment is simply another pattern. God, there's a lot of pressure, Robert. What should you do? Suddenly being a guru, like I am, doesn't feel so appealing. Should you do this or should you do that? Je ne sais pas. Am I allowed to say I don't know? Or should I think of an answer that just changes the subject? This is a common thing that can be used when somebody asks you a question that you don't know the answer to. Is you just focus on a part of the question, speak about that part of the question, and then that gives the impression to everybody that you know what you're talking about. I tend to be more intelligent than that, though, and confess the game before I even play it, so everyone thinks, wow, she is really intelligent. She's seen that game. Yeah, I don't know. You could toss a coin. I'll toss one for you. This is my money wallet. Because I travel so much, I keep all my different countries' money in here. It's huge. A very nice guy who's dead now, but he gave it to me for collecting monies at talks and stuff. So I have all different currencies. I've got Romanian money, Indian money, euros, that's the best one. We've got all types, we've got all that in there, all different currencies in here as well. Okay, well, you don't care anyway, so we'll use, what is that? I did have dollars, but I don't know where that's from. Shilling. Republic of Kenya. Republic of Kenya shilling. Okay, well, we'll toss a Republic of Kenya shilling for you, Robert. Okay, so here we go. So should you sit with the pain or go with the drive? Heads, you sit with the pain. So heads, you sit with the pain. And tails, you go with the drive. And the tails has got a bit of red in it. Okay, are you ready? Dun dun dun, this is exciting. Oh, I've forgotten what it was. It's that one. I think heads was sit with the pain. And this one was follow the drive. But I forgot. You have to look back at the video and see which one I said. But it came up, this one, with the red on it. This is a Kenyan shilling. 20 shilling. There are lots of them. Look, all different currencies from around the world. Oh, sorry, Khaleesi. I didn't see you were there. Sorry. You good girl. You can stay. Okay, well, that's that question done. Thanks, Robert. Hey, Lisa. Good to see you again. For your information, your video may be doing more bad than good. From an objective perspective, they look like surface since you are giving to others, but from a process perspective, they create dependency and thus take away life and potential. From an objective perspective, you're like the sun, but from a process perspective, you're like a black hole, and you and objects or subjects or a subject, a thing or a process. Your future as well as those of your viewers depend upon it. Choose wisely. It's hard though for me to feel, because like everyone's got their own interpretation on things. So some people might hear something in a talk and some people might hear something else in a talk and then go and act, and it might either produce positive or negative outcomes. It's way too complicated for us to understand. But from my perspective, I just feel this immense love, and when I'm talking it's like this sensation of giving. And so from that perspective, that's all I can really judge. And I know that in a lot of society, a lot of things aren't done from that place. So from me arguing to defend my talks and the way that I talk, is that maybe that energy that comes from love is really super helpful and healthy for people. But for sure, maybe people interpret what I say and take it in the wrong pace, in the wrong way, and that can have an effect not negatively or positively on their life. But in the instant, I know that when I speak, like, I can have emotions, but there's this love that wants to come out, this love. And I never used to know what love was until I had this awakening, and now I know what love is. And yeah, who knows the way that people interpret these talks and the effect that that has. But from that perspective, that can only feel like a really positive thing, to be doing something and loving it and giving that out to the world. How many businesses, like the food that you eat comes from love, or the businesses that you interact with come from a love or a passion? How much of it comes from fear and anxiety and trying to survive? Hi, Lacey. Hi, I'd like to add you on Skype. Okay. Hi, Isabel. Your hair looks beautiful. Fabulous hair. And then she sent a picture of a lion. Thanks. That is quite some compliment. Hi, Nicholas. Just sitting with you today. You're so lovely. And then you farted. I was burping, actually, but not that I don't fart. I do. Hey, Deanna. This morning I have seen this image on Facebook and felt surprised that manners are so hidden in our mind. Easy to see, difficult to see. Easy to see is language, folk, love, dress, literature, food, fine arts, holidays and festivals, yeah. Difficult to see, family roles, beliefs and assumptions, relations to authority, self-concepts, bias, core values, manners, interpretations, beauty ideals, attitude towards school, family values, concept of cleanliness, great gender roles, humour, notions of modesty, competitiveness, approach to health and medicine, concept of justice, attitude towards the environment, child rearing practices, gestures, expectations, thought processes, work ethics, personal space, aesthetics. Very true, Deanna. Thanks for sharing that. That's very funny. Dominic. Hello, Lisa. Is there still jealousy when your boyfriend kisses another woman? As your happiness isn't dependent on another person, I assume there is no jealousy. For sure I have jealousy. For sure. Just like Khaleesi has jealousy. Khaleesi does not like me petting another dog. I do it because I think it's good for her to accept that feeling and to accept that I pat other dogs. But Khaleesi would like to rip the neck open of a dog when I stroke that dog, and Khaleesi is so super enlightened. And yes, I have jealousy. This morning, my boyfriend and I were competing on Tetris. Now, I am better at Tetris player than he is, but he wins more often than I do. And I do not feel that that is fair because I am actually better. But he wins for an unknown reason. He wins more times than I do. And I would like to sometimes headbutt him when he sits there and brags about how much he wins. So yes, I have jealousy. My boyfriend has never, in front of me, kissed another woman, so I'm not sure what the outcome would be. If he kissed another woman, I might get super turned on and sexually aroused. It could be that I want to rip hers or his throat out. We are unclear of what that would produce. But I can tell you over Tetris, I'm not sure if it's jealousy, but there's some, I know that I'm better at Tetris than him, but he keeps winning. I have to work out why that is. Oh boy, it hurts listening to you. Hi Lisa, you can say moo, happy to see you. You're a great actor, I don't mind gas, but please don't hit the table with hands or move your mic. It's very loud and it feels like a bomb attack on my heart chakra area. Oh boy, it hurts listening to you. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, it really annoys my mum, me hitting her table. Apologies, guys. Sorry. I tried to keep my hands away. Hi Lisa. I'm in an interesting course on transmitting and receiving of different states of inner awareness. Would you be willing to spend a few minutes here now going into your sense of oneness, just without words for a bit? Sure. It's there all the time though, when I'm speaking or when I'm not. I'm sorry, I think I'm really poor to speaking today. Although I just thought I should just clarify something, because I don't want people going around headbutting each other. I don't really want to headbutt him. It's just an expression of like frustration. Just to express that. I can imagine now everyone like, it's okay to headbutt another human. I suspected that was the case. And there's an outpouring of headbutts. You can headbutt a ram. Rams like to headbutt. You can go and find a ram. Well, no, that's a terrible idea. Do not headbutt a ram. You'll be done for animal abuse. Do not do that. I just was thinking because they like it, then you could do it. But no, that's not a good idea. Okay, so I'm not able to sit for silence for long. So we can never be out of suffering as long as we have a body? No, you can be out of suffering. You can not be out of pain if you have a body. If you have a body, you're going to experience pain and pleasure. Suffering is the attachment to the belief that you are the body. That's when suffering comes, and your attempt to avoid pain. When there's a surrender to the pain, then you're free. When you surrender to the pain and to the pleasure equally. And then that's when that illusory you collapses. Hello dear Lisa, lovely to see and hear you. Yeah, I remember that one about the lion. Born free, yeah. Yeah, it's funny how such a taboo is in pretty much every culture I've been to. Gas is the most natural thing in the world. Much appreciated, Lisa. It's so important to be playful and childlike whenever possible. This is absolutely true. I'm 100% certain that most mental illness is due to stress, not listening to the body and finding inner peace. I think so too. And the mind goes crazy the more that you avoid it. And this is such a huge social problem. I just heard yesterday that 1 out of 10% people in Norway are on some sort of anxiety, depression medicine. When I was in Australia, I remember listening on the radio, a number one drug, even before contraceptive, was antidepressant. Oh, so cute. Izzy Easy wagging her tail. It was follow the drive. It was follow the drive. Oh yeah, I wasn't sure. Hello Lisa, born free in the winds blow, as free as the wind blow, as free as the grass grow, grass grows because you're born free. Does your mom have an issue with your and your brother's gas? Seems to me she is a proper mum. Yeah, my brother he's a larger gentleman and he just has the worst gas and he does it just to wind everyone up in the car. I forgot. Oh my god, I'm dying. Kenyan shilling, so funny. I know, I've never been to Kenya as well. I don't know how I got that. Does enlightenment obey to divine timing? I feel very grateful with you that you share your time for free with us. Neola. Thanks, Neola. Does enlightenment obey to divine timing? I don't know what divine timing is, or obeys to divine timing. I'm not sure what that means. I love your talk today about coming back into the body. I love you. Beautiful, honest, authentic, and powerful, loving. It just feels so right. Oh God, I love this. You're just so funny and super cute with your loving doggy. I'm in a playful mood today. Maybe because I played too much Tetris. In German they call it Tetris, which is also funny. Hi. Hey, do you have any tips on finding strength to make big changes? How to find strength to make big changes. How to find strength to make big changes. I think you've got to come back to what it is you want. So if you don't want to make the big change, then you're not going to change. You've got to want to do these things. If you're doing it out of some sort of intellectual reasoning, then it's going to be a struggle. You're going to have such a powerful mind to overcome it. So I would become aware of what you want and, write it down and become super aware of it, what you really want. And allow that to take you. And know that none of it's really you, all of it is life. Like you can give everything back to life at the same time. If you really want the change, then the change will happen. And just focus on it, write it down and focus on it. And keep it around your house so you keep seeing it. Hi Julia. Hi Lisa. Wanna talk? Skype? Shall I call? Hey Lisa, hello beautiful Lisa. I'm just Hey Chris, I'm just so happy to see you. You're so brave to give this speeches and love in this world to so many people that can project all sorts of things onto you and still hold this energy of love. Thanks, and yes, very nice hair. Thanks. Yes, Tomac, you can call. Just 1 second. Let me prepare myself to take a call. I just have to turn a few things on. Oh, I didn't realise that I had volume on. So sure, now you can call away, Thomas. Remember, when you call, you need to have your headphones in, your microphone on. Headphones, microphone. Then we're ready. Although, I do need to... Oh. Hey, Thomas.
Hello, Lisa.
Hey.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm not sure if I can keep my video on because I'm not sure how much internet juice it will use, so I'll just see.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's not a problem.
Yeah.
How is my microphone? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, nice. So I had this question about frustration.
Yeah.
And about Tetris.
And about what, sorry?
And about Tetris. You said
Tetris, yeah.
you are getting frustrated when your boyfriend is beating you despite the fact that you seem to be better.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it is frustration, the feeling.
So it's some kind of raw energy, right?
It's this energy that I want to win.
Oh.
I don't know if it's exactly frustration, that feeling. I can just have a little look and see if you want me to see what feeling it is. It's kind of like a playful energy as well. Like it's like the joy of playing a game, you know, when the game of wanting to win a game and the joy of the competition. I don't actually really feel angry with him. Like we're giggling in hysterics at the same time because it's so funny because I think I should be winning. Yeah, and he thinks it's very funny that I think that I should be winning.
That's nice.
Yeah, but it is a like raw feeling. It's like that raw feeling of competition of like, I want to win, you know, like it's the raw feeling of what motivates us to say run a marathon or spend ages on Tetris when your hand can't barely move.
Yeah, that's the difference between passion and suffering.
Yeah. But it's still there, and that's important, that we need all human feelings. In Chinese medicine, you know, anger is a positive feeling. You know, the wood, so it's wood and fire coming together, and it's really important to have this. It creates heat, which creates action. You know, the motivation, we're so lucky in our lives. Our lives are so easy in some regards with food. Yeah. You know, if we didn't have supermarkets that provide food, it's actually hard providing your own food. You have to have these instincts which makes you a warrior to fight for your food. You know, if we didn't have supermarkets and money and we all had to go out and hunt for our food and grow our own vegetables. I don't know if you've ever attempted to grow your own vegetables, but it's difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult. That's a fact.
I used to do it in Australia, and Australia, where I lived, is maybe quite a hard environment because it was clay. But I used to battle because I was trying to do it organic as well against insects and birds and all different, and heat and watering and funguses, all different types of things.
It must be really hard in Australia. It's pretty much much easier in Poland.
Oh yeah, maybe Poland's easier.
Yeah, my family is making their own food in a way.
Yeah. But it takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of will, and that's not that doesn't just come from a feeling of just one feeling of peace or something. You have to have all different types of feelings to be motivated to do something like that. Yes, what was it? But what was your question about frustration?
Yeah, I wanted to ask if it is some kind of movement of suffering, but now I know that it isn't.
I don't. It's so hard when you get to these fine details of it, but it's, to me, suffering is taking things personally. It's not the actual feelings of pain. Like the feelings of pain are very human.
Yeah, I sensed from you some kind of passion more than frustration.
Yeah,
I guess.
but I can feel frustrated. Like, you know, I'm not a mother, but I know with just looking after a dog, sometimes it can be frustrating. You know, you
Yes.
like and a mother, I can imagine it's a lot more intense. Like so say if we're out walking and it's raining and the dog's rolled in mud and poo, and then you get them back to the house and you manage to dry them, and then they run outside and they roll in poo and they roll in mud, and then they run inside and they roll on the floor and there's mud and there's poo all around the floor, and all these sorts of things. There can be a feeling of frustration. This is superhuman. This is we want to imagine this peace because we don't want to feel. We're afraid of feeling frustration. We're afraid of feeling anger. We're afraid of feeling sadness. We're afraid of feeling moments of despair. But this is human. This is the freedom, the feelings, whatever you are feeling. And the person's like, yeah, but I want to be enlightened, and I want enlightened to look a certain way, and then I can show everyone I'm enlightened and I'm peaceful and I can be clean and I can have it one way. And the part of being human is the chaos of being human, the chaos of being alive. And we're so afraid of that on the human level, and it's like the absolute embracing and the ripping open of your heart to all experiences, because you're not going to get out of this life, enlightened or not, with having a variety of experiences. You can't escape this, because life is growth and life is destruction.
Yeah, I have been seeing recently that if I am just present with given emotion, then it isn't that scary when I feel it. When I just feel that raw energy, it's not nearly as bad as when mind is involved and ego.
And the reason why it's so uncomfortable, our feelings, is because we spend at least 20 years. So with you, I can tell from your voice that you're quite young. So I can't see you, but I can tell from the voice. So you've spent at least 20 years growing up being told that emotions aren't acceptable, and you've been suppressing your emotions, and this builds up a big like barrier between difficult feelings and yourself, and then it creates this mental activity that's really thinks that these feelings are danger, these feelings are going to kill you, these feelings are going to overwhelm you, these feelings are inappropriate and bad. And then you get into this subject, and then you begin to feel again, and they're overwhelming, and again you think, okay, enlightenment means none of these feelings, and I've got to push them away again. And then life hits you over the head a couple more times, and then you're like, okay, I'll feel. Jesus Christ, if you want me to feel, I'll feel. You can't escape it.
Yes, and it's much easier when you just feel.
Yeah, and you feel afraid, and you just let that fear be there, rather than, I mustn't feel fear, I'm bad for feeling fear, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault, I'm going to build a castle when I get home so I never experience fear again, I'm going to build this and I'm going to build that, and then I'll never have fear. And then if you just surrender to this and surrender to those feelings, then you can feel the fear, you can feel the chaos, you can feel the feeling that wants to avoid all those things, and there it is. You're in the present, you're in yourself, you're in life. The other is in imagination of what you want to be, what you should be, what enlightenment looks like, or what this looks like, or what you want your life to look like, whereas this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It's nice to be able to see you.
Yeah, I turned on my camera.
Yeah.
So it brings me to the question: is life effortless for you, even in effort?
Is what? Is life effort? Yeah. Even in effort, that's the point. Life is effortless for me, even with effort.
Yeah, because I'm noticing that the more present I am with my feelings and emotions, the more I realize that life can be just effortless. That I am a robot basically. Everything is happening by itself.
And it's more this that energy sees that you are this alive being that's present. The more that there is this movement to this freedom in every situation. So the body might have to put loads of effort into something, but there's a part of you that's, well, your essence is absolutely free and not doing anything and not affected. And the body might be going through hard work and pain, but you, who you truly are, is never affected. It's free of all the things of life. It is. Your suffering comes with time on the human level, with your imagination of yourself in time and your imagination of escaping time.
Yes, it's almost like it's almost like what I am is watching a screen, and on that screen there is life. Like there's no effort needed. I mean, I feel still a lot of effort, of course, but less and less as I go on. And as I go on, I am more efficient with less effort. So I see how ultimately life can be effortless, and I think will be.
Yeah. And just come aware of what your thoughts say unconsciously. If something is becoming really too much for the person, like draining, and you're feeling exhausted, there's more than likely failure thoughts going on unconsciously. So the thoughts are coming up saying that you're going to fail at this activity, that you won't do it well, that there's something wrong with you, and you're not conscious of it, and that's what creates the exhaustion. A lot of people in the West feel like this. They feel like they're going to fail even before they begin.
Yeah.
That produces good workers. Well, not really, but it produces a good amount of control over people, because we're all educated in groups. The teacher's priority is controlling the group. And so unconsciously they're disabling their students in order to control them. It's the same as what parents are often doing.
Yeah, I can see those patterns. Yeah.
And so just to become aware of that and just give it some space to express itself and see that it's not true and that who you are is presence. You're not those thoughts, but allow them to come into consciousness. The more you become conscious of it, the more it will dissolve those untrue thoughts.
Yeah, they often come out as tears.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially then I try to be just present, because then thoughts arise a lot and stories arise.
Yeah.
In that time.
That compulsive thinking and those stories come from unconscious thinking and the attempt to escape it.
Yeah.
And those unconscious thoughts have manifested as feelings in your body. Like tension, tight back. You hold it in your body.
Even right now I can feel energy of stress going through my body.
Do you feel like I'm judging you?
No, no, no.
Are you judging yourself?
Nope, I don't think so. It's more of a stress of coming into contact with other human being. So and being honest.
Being honest. So you must be projecting that I'm judging you or you're judging you. There's something that's telling you that you're not worthy of this communication.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
And you're absolutely worthy. How does that feel if I say that to you? That everything that you are right now with me is absolute perfection.
Feels good.
It does? Nice. You are. That's you becoming more in balance with yourself when you say it feels good, because you're out of balance because there's a story running saying there's something wrong with you or there's something not enough about it. And you're absolutely enough, whatever you bring to the table. And then as you begin to feel that, then you just begin to settle into this moment and presence comes about. And everything that you've done or that you've been that you think is unworthy about you is not here now. You are now this. This is fresh. This is who you are. This infinite space, which everything's being created in and is.
Yeah, it's very clear. Especially recently. And I've been sitting with myself every day for 2, even 3 hours. And every time I leave this meditation, I feel different, like visual sensations and hearing sensations. Everything feels a little bit different. Sometimes even slower, like there's more peace in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I won't stop this meditation, because I realized recently how important it is to stop for a few hours and just be, just feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes even stress comes up and fear when I sit, that I sometimes can't even breathe properly. And then usually after this kind of stress, relaxation happens, and then.
And do you have an awareness of what the stress is? Sorry, Khaleesi, do you have an awareness of what the stress is and the fear is related to?
I'm not sure. Let me see.
You can also do it in future meditations. It's just to sort of put your attention in the fear and just ask it, what am I afraid of? What's the worst thing that can happen?
It seems to be just a very general fear of losing control.
Yeah. Have you had periods in your life where you felt really out of control?
Oh, of course, entire childhood, basically, and the rest of my life, to be honest. I've been regaining control, or let's say I've been healing for past 10 years, but serious healing was happening for like past 6 months only. So before then, my life was pretty hopeless and powerless.
Yeah, that's beautiful that change is happening. And the most important key to it is presence, is seeing that you're free here. You're not somebody that's victim or out of control, because here control and no control exist. Right here, it's free of both of those. And now on the human level, you have to become more and more a feeling of being in control, because a human, a body that feels out of control, is going to be in chaos and a lot of painful sensations. So it's like you've got to regain that masculine part of you that feels like it's in control and can control its environment. And that is conditioned to you. That's conditioned from your situation. Like it's something that happened in the past.
It kind of comes together when I regain control on an emotional level, when I am more and more present, then I find myself making better choices in my life.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
It comes hand in hand, as far as I can see.
And then you can kind of see why people talk about the law of attraction, because when you become more balanced, then you're making more wise choices. So your life is becoming more balanced. It doesn't mean that life won't hit you at some point with out of control things, because that's part of life. But if you're feeling out of control, then you'll just keep picking things that are out of control to you. You'll keep in that energy. So you can kind of see, it's not the law of attraction is true, but you can see how it works. The one comes in, your life isn't reflecting to you that chaos so much.
Yeah, it shows because, for example, 1 month ago, I wouldn't be able to make this call and to talk with you. I would be too stressed and blocked, and now I'm capable to talk with you. It's only getting better.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for calling in and being so vulnerable. I think people will be super grateful that you allowed that to be shared with others.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you for all the live streams.
Oh, my pleasure. Oh, I send you lots of love.
I love you.
I love you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, that's super nice to hear. So thanks, guys. That's enough for today. I send you lots of love. I'm away now for a few weeks doing a retreat. So you can go onto my website and you can see when I'm next streaming. I think the next date will be maybe the 8th of April. But go onto my website and see. But the best way to know when I'm live is to go onto my YouTube channel, click subscribe, and click the bell so you get notifications, and then it will go to your email account. Obviously you've got to have a YouTube account which is connected to Gmail, but that's pretty obvious how to do all of that. I send you lots of love. Thank you. Bye.